New Hampshire's primary is tomorrow, and voters will head to the polls amid a major shakeup in the race for the White House. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis suspended his campaign, setting the stage for a GOP face-off between former President Trump and Nikki Haley.
And this scenario raises the stakes for this week's contest. Joining us now from Franklin, New Hampshire is senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott. Rachel, good to have you with us.
Hey guys, good to see you.
Good to see you too. I hope you're not freezing out there. So DeSantis, of course, was once considered the main rival to former President Trump. He eked out that slim second place finish in Iowa. But what was the straw that broke the camel's back for his campaign?
Yeah, and look, there was so much anticipation even before Ron DeSantis announced that he was running. I remember being out on the ground with him. Republican voters thought that he was the best opportunity to take down the former president, really the future of the Republican Party. But then there were several things that went wrong with his campaign. He had a lot of momentum very early on. He raised a lot of money. Then he also spent a lot of money, burning through millions of dollars. Then there was the drama, the infighting with his campaign and his super PAC, the political organization supporting Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. And as someone told me just yesterday, look, no one drops out of the race because they want to. They drop out of the race because they lose money and they no longer see a path to victory. And that became increasingly clear for the Florida governor. And he was dealing with this issue of former President Donald Trump and his firm grip on the party. And he realized that there was just no pathway forward for his campaign.
So, Rachel, now that DeSantis is out, who gets the big boost in New Hampshire out of the candidates?
Yeah, that is the big question here. And I can tell you from talking to DeSantis voters and supporters myself, some of them are so-called those never-Trumpers, right? They don't really want to support the former president. They see all this legal drama and chaos as a big turnoff for them. But a lot of them have the former president as their second choice. And so it remains to be seen whether or not this is really going to benefit Nikki Haley here in the final stretch. We know that in this critical 24-hour stretch until tomorrow's primary, she's trailing the former president now by 11 points, according to the latest poll.
And Rach, we know that this is a different landscape completely than in Iowa. We know that people who are not declared and independents can vote in this primary. Haley is banking on this being a good chance for her. She's also talking tougher on President Trump.
Yeah, and you were spot on about that. And I'll just give you one example. I talked to one independent voter here. She told me that she supported Donald Trump in 2016 and then President Biden in 2020. And now she is looking toward Nikki Haley to be the Republican nominee. That's the exact type of voter that Nikki Haley is betting on in this primary. She is hoping to win over a lot of these independents that are so frequent out here in New Hampshire. Now, of course, she has been ramping up her attacks on Donald Trump. This is something that she's largely avoided doing in the final stretch of the campaign. She knows that he was deeply popular in Iowa. She was worried about turning off of his voters. But now we have seen her increasingly take him on, whether he is mentally fit to serve, saying that, chaos and legal drama follows the former president. She's really drilling in on her attacks on him. The big question, though, is it too little too late? We saw the same thing happen with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, and it proved not to be enough.
And for Republicans, November is going to be all about who can beat President Biden. Haley says she's the one to do it, but the path for that is through Trump.
Exactly. And so Haley often on the campaign trail touts some of these polls that show a matchup between Haley and Biden and shows her sort of pulling ahead of President Biden. But exactly, she would have to get through the former president first, and that is proving to be a massive challenge. Look, she had that very distant third place, disappointing finish in Iowa. Right now, she is trailing by double digits here in New Hampshire. This could be her very last opportunity to prove that she could stop the former president. But at this point, all signs are pointing to Donald Trump getting closer and closer to taking this Republican nomination.
And Rachel, I know we got to go, but any chance of a joint ticket between Haley and Trump? Real quick.
Such a good question.
I learned in politics early it is not good to give any predictions, but Haley has been adamant about this. She says she doesn't want to be anybody's number two, guys.
All right, Rachel Scott, for us, our senior congressional correspondent. We appreciate you, your relentless coverage out there. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, Rachel.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.